first-degree felonies. The maximum penalty for each of those is 30 years in Florida State Prison. Count 1 is tampering with a witness in a capital felony. That is punishable by life in Florida State Prison. Is directing the activities of a criminal. That's a first-degree felony punishable by life. So the maximum penalty there is also life in Florida State Prison. Count 5 is conspiracy to commit tampering. And again, as it's charged, that is also a life felony. As to all the charges that you're facing, the maximum possible penalties are as follows. Life in Florida State Prison, followed by 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 75 years in Florida State.
Good to see you here with me again for another daily video. Let's go. Today, the bombshell dropped. YNW Melly's co-defendant, YNW Bortlen, was just hit with a major plea deal offer, and it's a game changer. He's staring down 5 life sentences plus an extra 75 years if convicted.
Mr. Henry, do you understand the offer that the state is making to you? Okay, you're charged as follows. Counts 1 and 2 is the first degree with a firearm. Those are capital felonies, which means it's a mandatory life sentence. If the jury convicts you of count 1 or count 2 as charged, that's life in Florida State Prison. I have no discretion. Count 3 and count 4 are accessory after the fact to the first degree. Those are each.
But prosecutors slid him a 16-year plea bargain with time served included. That's the type of deal you'd be crazy not to take. Here's what the paperwork is saying. All of Bortlen's stacked charges, including 2 first-degree counts, multiple witness tampering charges.
The PC Gambino account asked him if he was okay, and his response was, "I did that," and placed a smiley face emoji.
And even accusations of directing criminal activity would all get folded into one single 16-year sentence. Prosecutors are basically dangling freedom in front of him if he plays ball, and with what he's up against, it's looking like a no-brainer. Prosecutors clearly have a plan cooking because just as this deal surfaced,
issue here, and you can try them together. It is to the benefit of the state to try them together. It's just more efficient. You don't have to do things again and again. Do it all at once, and also you get a better chance of having them incriminate each other during the trial. It benefits the defense to sever it. That way they can point the finger at each other and get away with it. So this is what's going on. But
YNW Melly's retrial got pushed back yet again. On Friday, the 4th District Court of Appeals dropped the hammer, granting a stay in the case after the state attorney's office filed a motion. That ruling means Melly's double murder retrial won't even begin in September like people thought.
I don't think it should be automatically severed because the state is seeking a penalty for Melly, because it's only the penalty phase of the trial that would be different, not the guilt phase. The guilt phase is the same. They're both capital crimes. You're seeking the penalty on one, not the other, but that goes into the second part of the trial, the penalty phase, only if Melly is found guilty.
It's now delayed all the way until January 2027. That's years away, giving prosecutors all the time they need to tighten their case. Meanwhile, Bortlen's trial isn't crawling. It's happening in just a few days. That's not an accident either. Prosecutors lined it up this way for a reason. They're playing chess, not checkers, and the whole move screams one thing. They're trying to flip Bortlen against Melly. And here's where it gets even crazier.
Those were his lies. Cortland Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar, and you don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of a car with 2 bodies, car riddled with bullets. And when he shows up with a change of clothing, change of shirt.
The court slapped down a no communication order between Melly and Bortlen. That means no talking in person, no coded lawyer conversations, no messages back and forth, just straight up silence. Courts usually do this when they believe 2 defendants are both guilty.
Powder residue on his hands, evidencing that he had discharged a firearm. And he lies. He lies about where the incident occurred. He lies about how it occurred. And he lies about not having a phone. I think it was Miss Bradley herself who said, everybody has a phone in his pocket, not Cortland Henry.
And they're pushing for one to break and turn on the other. The streets are already buzzing with talk that having Bortlen testify against Melly would be a slam dunk for prosecutors. If he takes the stand and starts spilling, it could completely crush Melly's defense and lock him away for good. The question is, will Bortlen stay loyal?
On his hands.
So the right hand of Cortland Henry contained 0 particles characteristic of heart residue and two component particles. And the left hand contained 1 particle characteristic of heart residue and 1 2-component particle.
Okay. And can you explain to us what that means?
Basically, overall, there was heart residue present on the hands.
Or is he about to save himself and leave Melly out to dry? If prosecutors lock Bortlen in on their side, Melly is basically cooked when that 2027 retrial finally comes around. As part of this plea deal, all Bortlen has to do is nod his head, confirm the evidence lined up against Melly is real.
Melly's co-defendant YNW Bortlen was booked into a Miami jail Monday night and is being held behind bars on an out-of-county warrant. We just confirmed the warrant is out of Broward County for witness tampering. The warrant obtained by Law and Crime Network states as follows. On or about April 10, 2023, continuing through and including July 22, 2023, Cortland Henry, aka Bortlen, along with others, did unlawfully and knowingly engage in misleading conduct toward another person with the intent to cause or induce them to withhold testimony.
And suddenly his mountain of life sentences collapses down to a tiny bid. Who wouldn't take that? If Bortlen knows deep down that he wasn't the one pulling triggers, why would he ever sit there and swallow a life sentence? He's not built to take that to the chin. It's way more likely he points straight at Melly, the same way Melly's own team pointed at him in the very first trial.
The warrant continues the alleged witness had been summoned by the legal process to the jury trial of Jamel Dimmons, aka YNW Melly. The dates in the warrant are important. Jury selection for Melly started in mid-April, and a judge declared a mistrial on July 22nd, the same day the warrant claims Bortlen allegedly tampered with the witness.
And here's where it gets wild. Most people don't even know this. Melly's lawyer already tried throwing Bortlen under the bus in the first trial. In front of the jury, Melly's defense flat out said it was Bortlen spinning lies for the feds, that he was the one moving shady, and that he was the last person with YNW Juvie and YNW Sack Chaser before they were gone. On top of that, the defense even brought in a forensic scientist to testify that gunpowder residue was found on Bortlen's hands. That detail alone had the courtroom buzzing because it painted him as the one tied to the crime scene more than anyone else.
Same thing, the use of the slap term, 5-point star, snake. He's saying he's YSL. Hanging with him. And he puts up his YNW for life hashtag on it with Mr. Demons has big B hand signs displayed.
Okay, and see the individuals again. I'm assuming that's also Young Thug. That's also unknown.
Yes.
Also important to your investigation, correct?
Yes.
Also publicly available for anyone to see and capture.
After that courtroom drama, the bond between Melly and Bortlen snapped clean in half. They haven't spoken since those accusations came flying. And when Melly's mistrial got declared, people noticed something strange. Bortlen jumped on Twitter the very same day and dropped a cryptic message. "Mind games don't work on people like me," with a handshake emoji tagged on. To the streets, that looked like more than just a random post. It looked like a quiet signal that he was ready to cut a deal and shake hands with the prosecutors.
Did Vaughn really tell you that Melly told him that he was 2 friends?
He ain't come out and say, like, we got into an argument. And so, you know, if you know, when people could say something without saying it. And so he told me, like, once I posted what I posted, Vaughn was mad at me. Bro, why you put up there, bro? Walk the bam. I'm like, you sitting up here like you know the love we got. You do this for us, but you gonna trust that his 2 friends? And he said, them was trying to extort him. And so I'm like, if they was trying to extort him, then why are you still around them?
This shows Bortlen has likely been weighing his options ever since the mistrial. And honestly, can anyone blame him? He's got every reason to flip the script and testify against Melly. Not only is the evidence heavy, but the betrayal cuts deep. After being painted as the fall guy by Melly's own legal team, the loyalty between them is shattered. That crack in their alliance might be exactly what prosecutors need to make their case airtight.
The state filing 6 new charges against Demmons and 2 others who were allegedly involved. The charges include tampering with a witness, directing the activities of a criminal, solicitation or conspiracy to commit tampering, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Now, a couple of those charges actually carry a life in prison sentence if there's a conviction.
It shocked everybody when the state filed new images straight into Broward County court records. Pictures of alleged handwritten notes found during the recent raid on YNW Bortlen's home. These weren't just random scribbles either. The notes reportedly detailed where specific jurors were sitting in Melly's first trial, along with descriptions of how they looked. That discovery had people whispering that Bortlen might have been plotting to slide information over to Melly.
Only 5 hours after the crime was done, Melly was seen dancing in a parking lot with YNW Bortlen.
Melly still turned regardless of what happened this early morning. He's still out here being very positive. Turned still. Hey. No, still turned, regardless of what happened. You already know.
Giving him a chance to sway jurors that were leaning guilty. If that's true, it's a dangerous move that could change the whole narrative in court. But here's the real problem for Melly. If Bortlen locks in this plea deal, he can validate every single new piece of evidence prosecutors want to bring in. That includes a Facebook post tying Melly to Young Thug, claiming both were part of the same Red Street team.
I'm aware that 924-071. Call for an automatic stay while
they were aggravators. They go to membership, and again, there are things that the jury would have to find before going into penalty.
Not aggravator, that's the death penalty. Aggravator, that's the enhancement itself, Your Honor. That was charged. He was charged in committing the murder for the further conviction, which is an aggravator in terms of the guilt.
Something that they would have to find by way of an interrogatory.
Yes.
Prosecutors are dying to use that post to show Melly wasn't just acting solo, but connected to a bigger crew with a reputation for violence. And if Bortlen steps up and confirms it, the defense will have a hard time fighting back. Melly himself seemed to feel the pressure boiling in the courtroom. At a recent hearing, witnesses say he shocked everyone by openly going against his own lawyers in front of the judge. When prosecutors pushed to bring that Facebook evidence in,
Mariah Hamilton is spending her first day at the Broward County Jail. She has no arrest record until now. U.S. Border Patrol agents arrested her at Miami International Airport Monday after she arrived on an international flight. Court records show Hamilton was ordered to testify in Demmons' first trial in 2023.
Melly reportedly told his team to let it slide because he knew Bortlen was about to flip and confirm it anyway. That moment had the whole courtroom buzzing because it showed cracks in his trust for his own defense. And it didn't stop there. Melly straight up lost his cool and started yelling at his lawyers in open court. People inside said they heard him shout, "I don't care. I'm not in no gang."
My son has not been convicted of anything, and even other inmates that have been convicted or anything, they have the right to use a telephone. They have a right to just to be allowed to write letters to their loved ones, to receive their mail. They hold his mail. They don't give it to him.
They can't prove that. His voice echoed through the room, and you could tell the pressure of Bortlen's looming testimony was breaking him down piece by piece. The combination of Bortlen's notes, the Facebook post, and Melly's outburst in front of the jury pool is giving prosecutors exactly what they want. A storyline where Melly looks desperate, cornered, and ready to snap.
The YNW Melly. I'm so happy he in jail getting mistreated. Yeah, I'm so happy he in jail getting mistreated, homie. Homie, when you take a life, homie, you ain't got a right to complain about a motherfucking thing about being mistreated when you done chose to play somebody.
What's got people talking even louder is another piece of evidence prosecutors are ready to throw on the table. And it comes from an O-Block insider who snitched about a secret YNW Melly once shared with King Von. Before Von passed and before Melly was locked up, the two were tight like brothers. But according to this O-Block source, Melly confided in Von, asking him for advice on how to handle people. And if you know King Von's history, you already know what kind of advice he was capable of giving. That connection is dangerous because it paints a picture of Melly plotting in ways prosecutors will have no problem twisting against him. Now here's the scary part. If Bortlen takes his plea deal, prosecutors will have 2 full years to make that evidence admissible in court. And if they succeed, Melly could be staring down a guaranteed life sentence. But that's not even the worst of it, because Melly isn't just battling one case. He's also fighting a second, separate case that could bury him even deeper. A lot of people missed this detail during the first trial.
Yes, sir. Against our advice, our client wants to proceed.
You object to their request for me to determine this automatic stay.
Based upon what our client has instructed us, yes.
Melly dodged one of his most serious charges because his girlfriend at the time, Mariah Hamilton, slipped out of the United States and couldn't testify against him. Her absence left prosecutors scrambling, and that loophole gave Melly a lifeline in court. But guess what? Mariah is back. She just returned to the U.S., and the judge wasted no time cutting her a deal.
When you saw Melly's statement, just saying how he's been hurt, how he's scared for his life, as a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless. Broward Sheriff's Office definitely needs to be investigated. I mean, they are making up their own rules. We've tried to go to court about this situation. The judge really doesn't have any jurisdiction when it comes to the jail, because we actually had a hearing about the mistreatment of him, and the jail they make their own rules. And I don't think that's fair, because I know that they need to answer to someone too.
The arrangement was simple. Testify against Melly and you walk free. And just like that, prosecutors now have 2 dangerous weapons against him. YNW Bortlen, who knows the inside details, and Mariah Hamilton.
Can you state your names, your full legal name for the jury?
Leon Phillips.
Okay. And are you related to one of the victims in this case?
Yes, I am.
How so?
I'm his mother.
And who is that?
Christopher Thomas.
Ms. Phillips, did you see who entered into the occupants who entered into that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Do you recognize where your son entered that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Which seat, if you can identify for the jury?
He got in the back seat on the right-hand side.
Did you recognize the individual that got into the back seat on the left side, the rear driver's side?
Yes.
And who was that individual?
Janelle.
Who lived through the chaos and knows exactly what went down with Juvie and Sack Chaser. Reports say Mariah accepted the deal instantly, and she even dropped a Facebook message that read, "To my village, thank you. I love you all so much. God's plan, not mine." That post alone made people believe she's fully locked in with the state and ready to flip. The situation gets worse. Prosecutors also uncovered files from Mariah's iCloud linking back to jail phone calls where Melly allegedly pressured her not to testify in his earlier trial. That's straight-up witness tampering, and in the eyes of the law, it's serious business. Even if Melly somehow managed to beat the murder charges, this alone could still land him a life sentence. The walls are closing in, and every move from the prosecutors is designed to leave him with no escape. The witness tampering charge is its own beast, completely separate from the double murder case involving Sack Chaser and Juvie. Because of those alleged jail phone calls, YNW Melly hasn't been allowed to touch a phone for over a year now. The restrictions got so extreme that his own mother, Jamie King, went public in an emotional interview, blasting the county jail for cutting off her son from even basic rights. No phone calls, not even access to his personal mail. She broke down saying Melly isn't being treated like a human being, and her words had fans both heartbroken and furious. But here's the thing, the feds don't play with hunches. If they're keeping Melly locked away from the phone system this long, it's because they've got receipts proving he used those calls for witness tampering. No county in their right mind would risk a multi-million-dollar lawsuit without being able to back it up. That makes the case even heavier because it shows prosecutors aren't bluffing. They're sitting on solid evidence. The situation blew up in the media, sparking reactions from every corner of the industry. Controversial figure Charleston White didn't hold back, saying this is exactly how Melly should be living. No special treatment, no sympathy. On the flip side, rap OG Boosie spoke up about Jamie King's pain, showing love for her as a mother dealing with a nightmare that never ends. Even in the rap game, opinions are split, with some siding with the system and others rallying behind Melly's family. But the biggest bomb in all of this is what Bortlen could reveal if he fully cooperates. Prosecutors have updated evidence showing that just 5 hours after the crime, Melly was caught on camera. laughing, dancing, and celebrating in a parking lot with Bortlen right beside him. That footage alone raised eyebrows, but having Bortlen testify about what really went down during those hours could seal the deal for prosecutors. And let's not forget about the Jeep, one of the most critical pieces of the case. Video evidence shows Melly hopping into the back left seat of that Jeep only 30 minutes before Sackchaser and Juvie lost their lives. Prosecutors believe that detail matters big time, and with Bortlen on the stand, they'll finally have someone who can explain exactly what Melly was doing inside that car. If Bortlen gives them the inside scoop, Melly's defense won't just crack, it'll completely collapse. Now the streets are buzzing louder than ever, because everyone knows if Bortlen steps up to testify, Melly's whole world could collapse. Fans who once screamed, "Free Melly," are starting to go quiet, and even some of his own supporters online are saying the case is looking impossible to beat. The fact that his retrial got pushed all the way back to 2027 only makes it worse. That's years of prosecutors stacking evidence, polishing their strategy, and waiting to bring Bortlen to the stand as their golden witness. Delaying the trial might sound like a win for Melly at first, but it's actually the exact opposite. The longer this drags on, the more time the state has to gather fresh angles, lock down witnesses, and make sure no loophole saves him this time. By 2027, they'll have not just Bortlen's testimony, but also Mariah Hamilton's statements, those alleged notes from the raid, the Facebook gang ties, and the Jeep footage all lined up like dominoes. And when it falls, it's going to fall hard. The rap world is split right down the middle. Some artists are distancing themselves completely, not even saying Melly's name anymore because they don't want their brand tied to this chaos. Others, especially the younger generation of rappers, still scream loyalty and say Melly's being framed. But loyalty won't hold up in court when your co-defendant is on the stand pointing fingers at you. That's the harsh reality. Meanwhile, inside the courtroom, every little move Melly makes is under the microscope. His outbursts, his body language, even the way he looks at the jury. It all gets reported, and it all plays into how the public sees him. The feds know that too, which is why they're treating this like the biggest chess game of their careers. With Bortlen flipped, they'd have the perfect checkmate piece in hand. By the time 2027 rolls around, Melly won't just be fighting the evidence, he'll be fighting the image the prosecution built over years. And that's why so many are saying this delay isn't a pause, it's a setup to bury him forever.
Thank you for watching. See you in the next video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.